Hey, good morning, everybody. Corey Schrader again, Black Creek Wealth Management. Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to touch base with you today, given just this crazy market, just some financial planning topics and really just one that you can focus in on as we go through the last couple of months. If you haven't gotten a chance to take a look, definitely wanted to show you just real quick what's going on. And really what's going on is the market is just going crazy. If you just woke up and decided to start investing here at the beginning of the year, you're not a happy guy if someone told you just put money into the S&P 500. The market's down about, after today, probably about 15 to 16%. So not something ideal, but what I do want to share with you is the beautiful thing of looking at the possibility of maybe doing a conversion. So if you're not familiar with what a Roth account is, briefly talk to you about it. So a Roth account is a tax-free growth account that you can put money in after tax and ultimately can grow it up until, whenever. And I'm not going to get into all of the rules here today because it would take a little bit of time. But the main focus is that with a Roth account, you have the ability to grow your money tax-free, which is wonderful. And it also scares the government quite a bit. And they've changed some rules around it here recently to make sure that that doesn't continue. But I can keep going on about that. So what I wanted to talk to you just about today is the concept of the market is down. I'm not happy. Corey, there's nothing positive. I'm going to share something positive with you. And that's the ability to convert depreciated stock into a Roth IRA. Now, don't be confused that a Roth IRA is an actual investment, because it's not. I've heard it many times coming up through the ranks. Back when I was with a big brokerage house, I want to buy one of those Roth CDs. It's not the case. The Roth is more of if you think of a kitchen, and I always love to use this horrible analogy, a kitchen, think of it this way. You have cabinets in your kitchen, right? No matter what you do, your cabinets are going to be there. As soon as you put them up, they're not really going to change in form or really use, right? Okay. But what do we put in the cabinet? So if you, again, picture a kitchen, a cabinet is the IRA, whether it's a traditional, whether it's a Roth, whether it's a 401k, the shell or the cabinet never changes. Now, the investments would be spices, plates, cups, whatever you want to put inside the cabinet. You can change and replace those at any time. But that's the thought I want you to have. So if we're talking about a Roth account, it doesn't matter what you put into it. The Roth account's not going to change, similar to a 401k, similar to a traditional IRA. The rules are just different. And again, I'm not going to get into it too much here today. So the concept that I wanted to share with you today is that idea you do, and how can you take advantage of it? Because if you're down 18%, you just started investing, you're like, oh my gosh, there's no real benefit here. Well, if you put, let's just say $100 into just a traditional IRA account, and now that $100, and for round numbers, is now down to $80. Well, you're investing for the long term, right? You know that, or at least you've been shown, whether it's by myself or somebody else, that the market over time averages about 8%. They're trying to tell you 10 to 12. I'm more in the boat of maybe about 6 to 8%. Well, if it's dropped 20%, right? So now that $100 is down to $80. Well, you can actually benefit from that because that $100 is now $80. So you can actually take that money, you can do what's called an in-kind transfer and move it from a traditional IRA to a Roth account to now a tax-free account. Now, you will pay a little bit of some taxes up front, but think about this. With a traditional IRA, eventually you're going to have to take out that money. You're going to have to pay taxes on that money. Hopefully your income and your taxable rate will be much lower in the future to be able to benefit from that. Oftentimes, at least if you're paying attention to the US, taxes aren't going down anytime soon, right? So if we can move it to a Roth account, instead of paying taxes on $100 down the road, let's pay taxes on $80 that's going to grow tax-free. I can show you the calc, get into it more if you have questions. But the biggest thing here is I want you to consider if you have kids that you wanted to maybe donate investments to. Let's think about it this way, and I apologize, let me just move out of my way here. If we pull up something like Apple, right? Everybody loves Apple. Everyone loves Tesla. Everyone loves Amazon. Well, look at this run. What if you would have put money into a Roth account and grown that money tax-free from basically 2012 up till now? It's essentially moved, and again, this is adjusting for splits and different things, but Essentially, it's moved from $16 a share up to $142 over the last 10 years. What if that grew tax-free? Right? So that's kind of the thought with these Roth accounts, or at least the conversion to Roth accounts. And there are many other rules, and I'll probably go into it in the next week or two around just what a Roth IRA is. But the concept here is again, if you have questions on what I should be looking at, consult a CPA before you just rip the Band-Aid off and do a Roth IRA, because there are some tax considerations. But I just wanted to share with you the concept of low basis. You got stocks that have been dropping. They're going to be higher in the future. If you got something that you wanted to do a legacy on to kids, if you wanted to potentially have a lower income in retirement, because again, this doesn't necessarily count towards certain things from an income perspective, definitely something to consider. If you have any other questions, obviously reach out, let me know, and I'll be happy to run this thought through. But have a wonderful day, and thanks for tuning in.